What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is a super exciting day. The Langmuir Systems Crossfire Pro that I ordered about 2 months ago has finally showed up. We finally have all the pieces to start assembling this thing, and I'm pretty excited. I got a little setup going behind me. I'll show you in a second for assembling this thing. I've wanted a CNC plasma for a long time, and Langmuir finally made a system that is affordable enough for me to buy. So I picked one up, and we're gonna start assembly and go from there. So I think what we'll do is we'll just set you guys up kind of on a time lapse, and if I notice anything that I want to mention to you, I'll stop the video there and I'll talk about it real quick. But for the most part, skimming through their instruction manual that I was looking at last night, looks very detailed. Should be pretty straightforward to get this thing assembled. All the bags and hardware and everything are labeled with numbers, where you got to put them, all that kind of stuff. I do have some tools to help, like a square and whatnot, and I brought a computer out here, the computer that will be running the table, just to use for the instruction manual, because that is on their website. So you will have to have a laptop if you buy one of these to assemble it, run it, all that kind of stuff. Obviously it's a computer-aided cutting device. So let's get to it. Let's start unboxing some of this stuff, get the instructions pulled up, and we'll see how far we can get today. Alright guys, so I'll just show you real quick how they've kind of packaged some of this stuff. I think in total there was about 5 shipments. I got the plasma cutter in one shipment. I ended up going with the razor cut 45 that they suggest just for ease. Might upgrade that down the road, but for now it'll work great for what I'm using the table for. I'm planning to use the table for right now, but I'll show you a couple of the boxes that I have opened up and show you kind of how they package this stuff. This is the last box to arrive. This is all the table supports and everything, and if you have a buddy, I suggest having him help you unload this. This box alone was 150 pounds, right around there, 140. And then this box was one of the first ones to show up, and it was all the electronics, stepper motors, hardware, and most of the electronics and all that stuff. And then we have a box with the water table and stuff in it, and then I got a separate box with the torch height controller and of course the plasma. Overall, not too bad. They could condense these a little bit, I think, to get you less shipments, but with how I'm guessing they do their production and everything, they probably do it in stages and ship every order like every order's water table from this period, so on like that. And with shipping this year, I don't know if there would have been a better way. Shipping's been kind of terrible with COVID and all that stuff, so hey, that's alright, we'll take it, and we're gonna keep going here. Alright guys, so real quick, we kind of unbox some of this stuff. These shorter ones are the legs, and we're gonna start adding the feet and stuff. The slats or cross pieces are inside these tubes, so be careful when you open it. One fell on my foot because I did not know that, but these ones are for the gantry and all that kind of stuff. I started laying out all the hardware and brought up the instructions on the internet, so we're gonna just get smashing away on this. Alright guys, we got the frame assembled mostly. We need to square it up and tighten everything. It's just finger tight. This was kind of a pain by myself. If you have a buddy that's bored or just wants to hang out and you're assembling this, have them help you. Trying to hold everything's kind of a nightmare. It just uses bushings in between all the tubes. You crunch everything together, get it all square. Should work pretty good. Simple but effective. Should work pretty well. What's up guys, welcome back for day 2 of the Crossfire build. So far it's been going together pretty well. I got quite a ways yesterday in the, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours that I worked on it. I'm pretty happy with the progress. Like I said, not rushing through this job or anything like that. I did run into a couple problems that I want to address, like not address, but tell you about. That is right here on your Z height axis. These threaded holes into this aluminum angle were not threaded super good. They were pretty gritty and fit okay-ish. I got them to thread, but not great. Should be okay, tightened up. It's all locked into the blocks and everything, so there shouldn't be any real movement there. But so far, that's the only real fit-up issue I've had with this thing. And we're just gonna keep trugging along, and we'll get her built and going, guys. Well guys, it's been probably about an hour or two. Got the water bed all sealed up and put on there, and we got the Y-axis all adjusted. We're going to start on doing the Z-axis adjustment. They have a video that I have to watch to see how they do it. But before that, I got to run to work, grab a cheapo Allen wrench that I can cut down, because a couple of the bolts on that torch height controller and all that I could not get tight with a factory sized Allen wrench. So we're gonna make a custom one real quick. We'll get that done, but here's how she's looking. I don't know how I feel about this bed being held down with self tappers with rubbers. If they leak or anything, I'll just TIG weld all the holes shut and then lock the bed on with tabs or something. We'll come up with everything, but moves nice and free. No binding, so we're on the way. Well guys, it's been a little while here. We got the stepper motors put on, the lead screws and all that stuff are put on as well. We're moving right along here. We're getting ready to put the supports, gussets in on the bottom, and here's where we're sitting right now. Got this all adjusted. Lead screws are in. Coming along. Well guys, it's been a little bit here. We got all the support like side panels on and all that stuff. We finished hooking up all the electronics. There's still some wire management that I need to do, but instead of using the P-clamps and self-tappers that they sent, I think I'm just going to run over to one of the hardware stores and get one of those, or a package of the zip tie holders that is double-sided taped, a little plastic holder. I think I'll use that over the P-clamps and stuff. Be a little nicer, a little simpler. And but we're just about ready here to hook up the fire control software and run it for the very first time. So hopefully we won't blow the breaker. If I do, if I pop the breaker, I'll have to wait till I finish wiring in the outlets over here. And that's how it goes. So we're gonna give her a shot and see what happens. Alright guys, it's been a couple minutes here. I had to go in and manually update the drivers for the fire control system for Windows 7. I'm using an old laptop, or not laptop, but an old desktop of mine to run this system out at the shop. If you have Windows 10 and newer, it'll auto install the drivers. They have how to do this if you have a Windows 7 computer, but I got it all running. I already moved it up to finish adjusting a couple things that they want, but here we go. First movements. That's at 50, so here's 300. Well guys, it's been a while. It's a new weekend here for me. I did a bunch of stuff off camera, got the wire management looking a little better. There's still a couple things I'm going to try to make it a little neater for the wiring and stuff. I got the plasma cutter all hooked up and stuff, and we're about to run the break-in process. I'll take you around and kind of show you what I did, and we'll run through the break-in real quick and see what happens. So I got the torch on there. I'm going to put some wire guard or something on this stuff and maybe try and get those closer to sitting, but the torch almost has to sit at this angle so it doesn't hit the other axes. The wiring still looks like a little bit of a mess, but I tied it up on and all the way around too, so that's nice and neat. got the system working, got everything on, and I paused the break-in. So we're gonna unpause it and see what happens here. Okay, so we got the sheet still up there. This is 14 gauge, nothing too thick here. I'm just going to make some signs and whatnot with it, but kind of squared it up where I think it'll start. Loaded up the quick program of different shapes and whatnot that I made. I'm just going to do a dry run real quick just to make sure everything looks okay. So we're going to click dry run right there, and I'll hit start. Guys, we're ready to make the first cut. We're running about 28-30 amps on the razor cut 45, and then we're running about 72 inches per minute. I just found a little chart on Langmuir's website in the forums of what people are running. Then I also found that most guys are running between 90 and 100 psi of air pressure, so I got my regulator set for that. Nice high flow fittings and all that stuff. We shouldn't run out of air, and you want nice dry air. And of course, since I paint too, I got this big 5-stage air cleaning system with a nice big regulator, so we got nice dry air. I pre-cool it and all that stuff as well, so should be just fine as far as air pressure and all that stuff's going. So we're gonna turn the plasma cutter on, we're gonna hit go and see what happens. Alright guys, so you can see I made some errors on my programming, and that's one of the things I'm gonna just have to figure out. So I thought I had it selected to start and stop on the inside of everything, but apparently I didn't, and some of the smaller stuff is too small for the tip size. This is probably about as small as you might make happen. I gotta figure that out too. The cuts look pretty clean on the nicer, bigger stuff, like this line and everything. That cut out really well. So gonna do some measurements of this and figure some stuff out, and I might slow the program down. I think 72 might have been a little fast, and so we'll just play with it and figure it out. So you can see how nasty that water gets right away. Definitely need that additive to help it, but yeah, we'll get her figured out. Well guys, thanks for checking out the Crossfire videos so far. We're gonna do some playing around. We'll get her figured out, and I'll post that stuff to YouTube as we're making stuff and figuring out, getting the cutter dialed in and whatnot. There's just gonna be some playing with it. I've never messed with a plasma table, so obviously I got lots to learn. So we'll get her figured out and be making cool stuff in no time, hopefully. So thanks for watching.